Does that mean that we should say, well, that's not fair? About 50% of the population is men. Or do we look at fields where there is a higher percentage of people of color or a higher percentage of women and say, now listen, wait a minute, we need equality of opportunity. We need more men in here. We need more people of varying color. Should we do that? And of course, you give the answer away. No, we like that. That's, quote, positive discrimination because of past sins. We do not judge people or discriminate now because of past sins. That just leads to a never-ending cycle. The best we could do now is say every nation in this world has had some sort of discrimination in the past, and we try to put that behind us and move forward without the government doing those things.
Why are you blaming these institutions, or why are you upset that the fact that men just simply aren't doing better than women in, for example, in school, which is why women are, as you said, 60% of the university people in university, and that's increasing.
Why? But who has the trade degrees? Who gets most of the trade degrees?
Well, no, it's an interesting question. So what happens is when we see a data set that shows that certain groups that are considered oppressors are doing better, such as YT people, Christians, or men, we say, see, there's a problem with that. We need diversity. We need to get those numbers down. But when we see the opposite, when we see, for example, women doing better, we say, well, that's just because women are better. And we shouldn't see, yes, my point exactly is that. It's to say that when these numbers have discrepancy, that proves that it's somehow intentional or societal bigotry is nonsense. And are doing better, such as YT people, Christians, or men, we say, see, there's a problem with that. We need diversity. We need to get those numbers down. But when we see the opposite, when we see, for example, women doing better, we say, well, that's just because women are better. And we shouldn't see, yes, my point exactly is that. It's to say that when these numbers have discrepancy, that proves that it's somehow intentional or societal bigotry is nonsense. And yet, every time we see the groups that you dislike or feel are oppressors that are favored in those particular groups, we say, oh, that's a problem that needs change. Really, what your world ideology is that it's a problem if men are doing well. It's a problem if YT people are doing well. It's a problem if Christians are doing well. And as someone who fits all three of those groups, I categorically reject your attempts to sort of make me empathize with the fact that I should cheer for my own group's destruction. It's nonsense. And it is, as you admitted, discrimination. I'm against discrimination. You're for it.
Okay, no. Other groups doing well does not mean the destruction of your group. Even your terminology here, destruction, just shows how much of a victim mindset you have. Women doing well, people, BLK people doing better, does not mean the destruction of your groups. It's, again, not my fault that men just can't compete with women in school, for example. Girls do better in school at learning, listening. That's just the case. That's not the fault of women. You can't be upset at them for that. That's just your fault. Again, for example, Andrew said men are going into trade school more. That's good for them.
Men are also penalized in school. Boys are penalized in school. Rough and tumble play is penalized. The fact that they're rambunctious and boisterous is penalized. The fact that all of the rules are tailored for female behavior, men are indeed penalized. And here's the thing. If it was the case that we went back to schools which separated the sexes, I'm not so sure that you would have the same exact issues that you have right now. And there's no actual reason to have co-ed schools. There's no good reason to do that, to have co-sex schools. Like none. There's zero good reason for it.
I would actually say that I as a person who went to an all-boys school, I was segregated by sex at my school. I think that's actually good. There's research that indicates that women or girls tend to do better when they're in
so when you make a claim that there's no bias here, that's actually not true. You know that there is actually a bias towards boys in schools. You know that that's the case. For instance, things that probably wouldn't bother you, right? School ground fist fight. Right? Probably wouldn't have bothered you when you were in school, right? Your mates, what do you call them there? Your mates clock each other a bit on the school ground, right? You guys get around, fight. One of them gets a dust up, right? A little bit of a bloody nose, and it's over with. Nobody cares. But what do you end up with an official policy now? Your police come in and they arrest them, right? This type of thing is actually penalized, and rambunctious boys fight all the time. They wrestle all the time. They push each other around all the time. For us, it's fun, right? It's actually a fun activity for boys. So like pretending that they're equally treated or that the rules aren't tailored to girls, I think is silly, dude. I think that's a silly argument.
Okay, I love that you say this. So I'm hoping, Andrew, that I'm going to see you advocating for more men to be teachers and for more men to be educating in schools. Because again, this is kind of on the fault of men for not actually going into school and actually, you know,
I think that there's
being
high
there as an
risk.
example.
There's a lot of high risk for men who are inside of schools, which are dominated by females and female students. And that if it was the case that you separated these schools out by sex, you would see a lot less problem with men going in to be teachers of all boys schools. You'd find a lot less problems with that.
Again, I'd need
Because
to.
the social stigma would not be there anymore like it is when you have to tailor all the rules to girls. So I do think that you could easily remember that there used to be a lot of male teachers inside of when schools were sex segregated. And why? Because there was no annoying stigma around this anymore, nor any threat to them getting accused of some type of sexual impropriety inside of a female dominated space. So yeah, I don't think, and I do advocate that we should go back to having sex separate schools.